Well, the digital mothership has connected. Welcome aboard, everybody. Wow, this is a very special edition of Watch DA Live. I can tell you this. I'd like any and all comments tonight because we are flying solo, baby. How about this? The great Marquette Marvel, Aiden Hatton, is on a bender across the upper Midwest. He went to school in Marquette, of course. That's how he got the nickname. And he has buddies in Chicago as well. And so Aiden said, DA, love you, love doing the show, but early on in the summer, he said, I can't do this one weekend. And so we said, okay, fear not. We will have an executive producer slide in there because we've got a lot of moving parts. A lot of digital stuff going on, slates, graphics, music, etc. No problem. Well, Ethan Frank, our associate producer, is also tied up tonight. Sunday nights is where he works. He works at Golf Channel. So we said, okay, got to take him out of the race as well. So then we started thinking about maybe taping everything like we did a couple of weeks ago. Well, we taped some of the stuff a couple of weeks ago, but taping everything tonight. Run it as live. What we found was a couple weeks ago when we tested this puppy, you guys did not like that. You wanted it live, you wanted it here, you wanted it now. So we said, okay, we got to scrap that idea. And so it came down to, DA, do you think you can do this solo? And I said, damn it, I'm going to try. So tonight is a very rough around the edges edition, a very budget edition, summer edition of Watch DA Live, okay? And so be kind, but be perceptive. If there's something you say, hey, DA, that didn't work right. I don't know unless you tell me. I've got your comments going on right now, okay? So I can see the live stream, but it's going to be a bit of a bare bones operation. So imagine kind of like that early airplane where you see the black and white footage of the guys who are like pushing it along in Kitty Hawk or whatever, then they jump in the plane and try to get it off the ground. That's kind of what I'm doing tonight, okay? So that's how we're going to roll. God bless. I love this show. I couldn't take the weekend off. I love this show so much. It's what I look forward to every single week. And so I said, let's do it. Let's do it live. All right. So on that point, Q&DA, send them. Send them down the line. As surfers might say, send it. As snowboarders might say, send it. Because a bulk of the show is just going to be me looking at Q&DA later on and just going through everything. Bit by bit, comment by comment, and I get to pick what I want and then throw them up there. So that's going to be a huge interactive part of tonight's show. Also, the great Pat Boyle joins us here on the program. Hey, Patty B. You know, I've been waiting to get Pat on this show since we launched it back in March. Wanted to wait for a good time. Thought maybe Canadian bacon might work, but the day that we brought back Canadian bacon with Mraz, Boyle was tied up. So I'm waiting. I said, wait, how can we get Boyle involved? And then lo and behold, the guy has an epic week and throws out the first pitch at a baseball game. Why? I don't know. Was Boyle even more famous than I knew? So Boyle's going to join us coming up here in about 10 minutes from now. Can't wait for the man that pioneered the first perfect five-winker. All right. A lot to get to tonight here on the show. Last Dive Bar, once again, our epic sponsors. And the Last Dive Bar has you covered for some amazing stuff this fine summer backyard season. Look at this awesome pint glass they got. We'll be giving away stuff tonight on the show. So how do you get involved to give away or to get part of the giveaways? Tweet at me, at Damon Amendo. Instagram, at Damon Amendo. Send me pictures of what you're doing. It's going to be a little hard for me to potentially get it in the show, but I'll see it so I can try to get it to you. But also after the show, if I don't get to it, I can pick and choose some stuff and then send it out to you guys and get your addresses. So fear not, Last Dive Bar, unbelievable sponsors. They gave us all this amazing stuff to give away to you guys. They're title sponsors of the show. So certainly send me your stuff. And also you can email me at watchdalive@gmail.com. Let me know how you're watching the show. Smart screen, TV, smart TV, laptop, tablet, your cell phone. It's all there. Watch DA Live is all there, right? All right, everybody, let us begin with your Furious Five. And if things are just a little slower than normal, bear with me. Here we go. Look at that bouncy animation. Furious Five begins with Team USA taking on South Sudan yesterday and needing the late layup by LeBron, the surge in the fourth quarter. A team that was down 13 at halftime, I believe, and then South Sudan had, 3 chances in the final seconds to win. And Team USA gets out of there, but not without their reputation damaged. And I was thinking, is it worrisome? Yeah, of course it's worrisome. They're still the favorites to win the gold, but this was a matchup where clearly Team USA didn't care. They just walked into it and did not care. And maybe they had to have that wake up because they're so superior to everybody else in the field. But in terms of other Olympic teams, obviously South Sudan is not going to be a team that you're competing against because this was just an exhibition tune-up. You're competing against France and Canada and other large countries that have a lot of NBA players on them to win the gold. And anything less than a gold will be an international disaster. It'll be seen as a huge, massive embarrassment for Team USA. And look, are the Americans better than South Sudan? Of course. They just obviously didn't care and they needed the late surge. This is a bunch of fringe college players or G League guys that ends up beating, the U.S. or nearly beating the U.S. And I was thinking, LeBron was the guy that really turned on the Jets in the fourth quarter. I wonder if it was conscious of him that I can't lose this game because what would it mean to my legacy? For those that try to poke holes in the LeBron versus MJ argument, imagine on LeBron's watch that upset. That's really like Ralph Sampson losing to Chaminade. That's not even a 116, though. That's not a, some type of big NBA upset. This is a 43-point line and a bunch of NBA Hall of Famers and All-Stars against a bunch of fringe G League players and college guys. This would be by far the biggest upset in Team USA basketball, NBA, I think college basketball history as well. I think it's bigger than Chaminade over Virginia. And I know that it didn't happen, but had it happened, you just can't compare, and it's an exhibition, of course, but you can't compare legends of the NBA against guys that can't make the league. There's no equality there. Like in college basketball, at least a 116 is both teams are made up of the same types of players. They're college players. They are there for ostensibly 4 years. They are between the ages of 18 and 22, and they have not played professionally yet. I know there's different skill levels, but you are talking about NBA legends versus fringe G Leaguers and guys whose careers top out after college. That's not anywhere near anything we've ever seen. So I don't know if it went through LeBron's head at halftime, my God, I can't lose this. But he was the guy that played like, my God, I can't lose this. And I don't know, does it say much more that they won by 1 versus lost by 1? I don't know. It is certainly the wake-up call, though, because you can't now go into any other international matchup and take anybody lightly if South Sudan nearly beat you. So if Team USA wins every other game by 15-plus points, it wouldn't be surprising because maybe they had to get scared out of their minds, right? Number 2, the women's Team USA versus the WNBA All-Stars. I know that the WNBA All-Stars won this game, and, does that shine poorly on Team USA? I don't think so. Because I think this matchup is awesome. Wouldn't you love to see Team USA on the men's side against the NBA All-Stars that didn't make Team USA? Wouldn't that be an unbelievable summer matchup? My goodness, that is such a tantalizing format for this. So I just think they nailed it. I love it. I love that they did it this way. And I think that is something that the men's side, maybe it's terrifying for Team USA, but I think the men's side, the NBA would get such juice out of this. Could you imagine if the NBA All-Star Weekend, I know it's in February, But the two teams were the guys that made Team USA and the guys that didn't, that were Americans. I know that would take out international players, but I mean, still, that'd be so intriguing, so much more intriguing. Think about the pride you're playing for then. The guys that made Team USA can't lose that game. The guys that didn't make Team USA can't wait to win that game. That's awesome. What a great format for the women. Let's talk A's financing, shall we? Earlier this week, the A's came to the table in Las Vegas and said, "Fear not, we've got our plan. Here's how we're going to finance our $1.2 to $1.5 billion stadium." Oh, nice. I'm listening. Now, the state of Nevada and Las Vegas and Clark County are going to put in $380 million, which is very nice. It wasn't even put up to a vote by the residents. So that's very nice. We're not even going to ask them, okay? And the A's had the balls to say, we're not even going to use the full 380. Oh, really? No. You've been way too kind, way too generous. Wow. We're not even going to use all the money that you're giving us public-wise. Really? We're only going to use $350 of it. Great. Out of a $1.5 billion ballpark, you're going to leave $30 million on the table. How generous. Also, remember when they were asking for 7 games per season at a neutral site? They came back to the table and said, no, you know what? We'll do seven over 2 years. Still. So you're a Las Vegas taxpayer. You're seeing the worst owner of professional sports, John Fisher, bring his team to you. You're giving him $380 to $350 million, and they're still outsourcing 4 games a season to go play in cornfields and China and Japan and Korea and, London. Awesome. Oh, and they're going to play in Omaha too, just to make sure they expand the brand? Unbelievable. But that's not even the best part. The best part was the A's said, okay, I know we're on the hook for 1.2. Yeah. We're gonna get $300 million of that from a lender or lenders. Oh yeah? What ones? We don't know that yet. Oh, you're just gonna get $300 million from a lender, but you don't know where it's gonna come from yet, and you are running the most amateur quadruple A organization in professional sports. They're going to play 3+ years in a AAA ballpark, but I'm sure lenders are lining up to help you. Yeah. And then where's the other $800 million coming from, A's? Private equity. Private equity. Is that right? Oh, yeah. The Fisher family might be able to do it all on their own. Really? Oh, well. I guess I would ask the question then, why haven't you spent any money to this point in time? Why have you let the Coliseum rot? Why haven't you spent $1 on a free agent? Why haven't you spent $1 re-signing any of your guys? Why have you been running the thrift store of professional sports? Not just baseball, professional sports. Why, for years, has that been a Mickey Mouse spendthrift, cheap-ass organization? If you've got $800 million worth of equity you could just put up there. Why? Vegas residents, if you buy this, I got 5 bridges and 5 tunnels here in New York City you guys can absolutely own. In fact, I'll give you congestion pricing as well. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So, again, the single most disorganized, worst run, skinflint, cheapo organization is right now telling you, we're going to get $300 million from lenders, unnamed yet. We're getting $800 million private equity. Oh, yeah, sure. And we're going to leave you $30 million as well on the table. We don't even need it. Yeah? Is that right? Well, boy, am I excited. Am I excited to see how this thing goes? I mean, just give me a break. Out of everything that the A's have done and said, this one is rich. And I feel for Vegas residents because they're being put in an impossible situation. They have not been given the vote for the public money. they're also being sold a bill of goods by Major League Baseball that's shoehorning a team into their city. And they don't even get a real owner. If this was an expansion team, and I would take how the Golden Knights were developed, built, and placed in the desert, I would say if you're a Vegas resident and you want baseball, or you think baseball might be cool or more professional sports, that's the template. Owner who is organized, structured, good reputation, has funds, wants what's best, highly disciplined background, is going to try to build a winner and wants to do it the grassroots way to bring in something new to the city. Yeah. Instead, Vegas is getting a charlatan, a group of charlatans that's lied all of their way to this point in time, and they can't say no to this because baseball's like, yeah, it's fine. It's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. It's incredible. Just incredible. All right. By the way, last dive bar, get your stuff in here for Q&A. Send your comments, send your chat, send your photos. Get us in here, get us out of here because we got stuff to give away like this from last dive bar. We got 2 Legit to Quit t-shirts. We've got koozies, steins. We got everything going on here. It's amazing. All right, I am very excited about my next guest. You guys know him for many years doing many glorious, sometimes inglorious things on the airwaves. And now, what do we have? Well, we have him joining us here on the show. Pat Boyle! It's been too long. Best known as the pioneer of the 5 oinker, Pat Boyle joins us here on Watch DA Live for his inaugural episode. Mr. Patty B, how we doing?
DA, I'm living. I messed up the line. I'm doing great. I'm doing phenomenal. I'm feeling good, and I'm doing well.
There you go. That's it. You nailed it on the second time. I knew you could come through with it. So, Boyle, I'm following you on social media, obviously. And here I'm thinking you're doing sports updates and hosting. You're doing your thing on CBS Sports Radio, WFAN, bunch of shifts on WFAN. You're producing. Your voice is heard in New York City. You've done amazing things on the radio. Obviously, you do play-by-play as well. And so I know you've built a really great career for yourself. But then I saw that, A, you were teaching young minds, and I thought, that's dangerous. And then B, I saw you throwing out a ceremonial first pitch and said, boy, they grow up so fast. Tell me how that all came together.
Yeah, so I was the broadcast intern with the Somerset Patriots back in 2019. So I was doing, 3-4 innings of play-by-play for all the home games for the Somerset Patriots before they were the AA affiliate of the Yankees. Literally, if it was 1 year later or 2 years later, I would have been part of the Yankee organization. How scary is that?
Wow.
But so part of that gig is the sports broadcast camp that Dave Popkin, who's the who does Seton Hall basketball with Gary Cohen. He does AAA Blue Jays games. He does NEC Northeast Conference basketball. His camp, and Tim Capstraw, the capper, who you've had on the DA show at your old stop many, many, many times, the Brooklyn Nets radio analyst for WFAN. They've been doing that camp for 23 years. So part of the Somerset Patriots broadcast intern duties is the week of camp. You go and speak to them, kind of just tell them about the Patriots, tell them about yourself, a little play-by-play coaching, because then the final day of camp is they come to a game and they do 2 innings of play-by-play. And you'll have to excuse me if you hear any screaming in the background because I'm down the shore right now. Let's get that out of the way. Down the shore, Long Beach Island, LBI with my family. We rent a house every 2 weeks every year. And of course, lo and behold, my sister and my brother-in-law had a wedding. So they left 4 animals with me, my dad, and my brother. And it's like 2.5 men. It's 3 men and 4 animals. That would be a sitcom. So I apologize for any outbursts.
Well, it's all too perfect that this is what's going on your arrival, your debut here on the digital side of things. So what's going on like right now with your dad and brother? Are they just is everything on fire in the other room?
Well, we just ate. So now they're all hopped up on sugar and protein and carbohydrates, and they're probably tearing each other limb from limb out there. Again, if there was ever a reminder that I didn't want to have kids, that I don't want kids, here's another perfect reminder for you. Sign me up for the Genghis Khan thing. I'll sign the papers, meet them again when they're 18, see if they're worth anything.
Is that specifically documentation that you can sign the Genghis Khan thing? You just sign your name and you sire a lot of children and then they just come back at 18?
Yeah, so it's like, you fill out papers for dental insurance, you fill out papers for divorce or child support. I'll fill out the Genghis Khan proclamation, which is I will take no responsibility until the child reaches legal age, and then I will either take them in as my own or send them on their way. So anyway, then 2021 I came back to work the sports broadcast camp as a as a lecturer, as a coach, whatever you would like to call the role. And then I did it again this year. So like I said, the last day of the camp is we go to the Somerset Patriots game, and they were going to have Tim Capstraw throw out a first pitch, and they were like, and the director of media relations says, he goes, well, you're coming home. Welcome home here. You work at WFAN. Why don't you throw out a first pitch? So I was like, oh, why not?
Okay. Now, people might not know, but you have a background in collegiate pitching and professional pitching. You were actually was it the Northwoods League?
Yes. So not professional, but a high summer collegiate league, step below the Cape Cod League, if you will. I played with a lot of guys that play in the big leagues now. Okay.
And so you harnessed it for one pitch. I know you're very proud of this. I mean, you posted on social media. You felt good about the pitch.
Yeah. I mean, come on. You know how social media works, right? I got to try to do it in a way that, I'm acknowledging what happened without trying to look like a total douche, if you will. So yes, I didn't want to step on, a lot of people asked me when I posted it, they're like, wow, total fraud. Couldn't even step on the mound. Now, here's the thing that if you don't know about, minor league grounds crews, is that those guys pour their blood, sweat, and tears hours into preparing a field and the mound every day. Mm-hmm. So what would I be if I were then just to try to big league and show that I can throw? I mean, I was a college baseball player. Even if I wasn't, even if I only pitched at high school, I can throw a pitch from a mound. I'm not going to ruin the mound and ruin the grounds crew hours of work and show them up so they have to touch up the mound again. So I went right in front of the mound. Most people went like 45 feet, 40 feet. I was like 55 feet right at the base of the mound. And I try to zip one in there with a nice little leg kick and finish off. But I wasn't going to throw it 100%, try to throw like 80 miles an hour, because there's a chance for that to go wrong. And I have to have more UCL. So the last thing we need is for me to fully rip my UCL in shreds, throwing out a ceremonial first pitch.
If you knew Livy Dunn was into big, burly baseball pitchers, would you have tried harder to become a pro?
Yeah, probably would have taken steroids. Probably would have exhausted all options, even if that meant getting caught, even if that meant getting suspended and having a black eye in any realm of any circuit of baseball. If I knew there was a chance that I had a go at Livy Dunn, I'd kill somebody if it meant that I could have a chance.
So tell me about the Shore. Are things going well on the Shore? I mean, there's a lot of young people. You're kind of a famously single guy. And so how's it going?
Good. I mean, we just got here. They got here yesterday. I came down today. I'll be going back and forth, doing some BetQL shows, which is part of Odyssey, filling in for the bogeyman, Andrew Bogish. I'm taking his shift Wednesday morning. So I'll be up bright and early. And then I got a wedding. Another wedding that I'm a groomsman for, which I mean, to be honest, I want zero part of. I got my best friends calling me today. Yo, did you try your tux on? And I'm like, no, it's the same exact measurements. Your cousin just got married 2 years ago. I have the same exact measurements. It's like, dude, you're causing problems. You're causing problems here. What if the suit doesn't fit? I'm like, bro, I know it's your wedding and you're like high strung right now. I need you to pump the brakes. I need you to take a lap and then come back and stop creating conflict when there's no conflict. All right. The suit's going to fit fine. So I got a lot of stuff going on this week, and then I'll be back down the shore for this weekend. But no, this is purely family time. I'm not looking to reel in any fish when I'm here.
But at the wedding, that could be a fruitful night for you.
The wedding is, yeah. I mean, a couple tequila sodas. We'll see who's feeling their frisky moves on the dance floor, and one thing could lead to another. You never know how that night's going to end, and the hotel room's already paid for. So,
is that right? Do you want to pull in one of your nephews so you can throw them on camera so we can see?
No, my brother actually texted me as soon as I hopped on. He said, taking them for a walk. So it's just the baby, the 1-year-old whose diaper I had to change. First solo diaper change for me in my life. Dude, I tweeted this out. It should be an Olympic sport. There are more folds and caverns that you have to clean than the Grand Canyon. I mean, what are we doing?
Well, I'm very happy that you got this out of the way early. I don't know if you'll ever need to, because as you said, you'd like to do a Genghis Khan thing, so maybe you'll never be responsible for changing diapers. But the first one that I changed was in the hospital. So I had no concept of what's going on. And same thing like you. I'm like, what do I do? Now, yours might be a little easier. 1-year-old, you don't have to worry about breaking that 1-year-old. Infant just out of the womb, you're like, whoa, I don't know if I'm ready for this. But it's a thing, isn't it? I mean, because for when he's 1, just like AJ's 14 months now, if he's squirming, you've got to make sure he's distracted. You hold him down. You got to take that diaper off. Then you got to get that dirty diaper out of there. Then you got to get the wet nap in there, scrub, make sure nothing's going to get out on the changing table. Make sure it's not going to get on you or him. He could kick a foot into that dirty diaper. There's a lot of things that could go terribly wrong. That diaper could fall on the ground on you. There's a whole lot of coordination that happens with your first couple of diaper changes.
Yeah, the legs were squirming. I felt like I was trying to wrestle a fish out of the ocean. The legs were up, the legs were squirming, so I got the legs hog tied together so there's no movement on the ankles, and he starts crying. I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do. Do you want your tuchus cleaned or not? I did take the diaper. I swiped it to the side like a conveyor belt, moved it down the belt. The wipes, did what I had to do. That was like dude, it took me like 8 to 10 minutes in total. Like, I'm ashamed, but also it was my first solo diaper change. So we move on. By the way, how is AJ, man? 14 months. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's doing good. He's not quite walking yet, but he's standing, crawling a lot, standing. I think he's probably going to walk by the end of the summer or so. And he eats like a house. I guess he's got Mraz's appetite. He just keeps eating, and he keeps wanting everything that we're cooking. And it's like, I don't think you're ready for like ribs yet, man. And he's like, bring it. I want it. We're like, yeah, slow down a little bit. But he's doing good. He's hysterical. I was a bachelor for this entire week. The Bourbon Bell was was at a trade show down in Atlanta. And so because of my crazy hours, it's impossible, A, for me to watch him when I'm on the air, B, for anybody to come and like start watching him at like 4 a.m. as I prepare for the show or, getting out the door. So he went to the in-laws up in Rhode Island. So I was without wife and without child from Monday afternoon when I dropped him off to this afternoon. Whoa. Let me tell you what that's like. You're waking up in your own bed and you're going, it's so quiet. I can do whatever I want tonight. I could go wherever I want. So I spent 2 days going to the water, renting boats, just going out there. I went fishing yesterday. Today I just went out there, set sail. I went to the pool at my parents' house. I went to a bachelor party in the Poconos. I did it all. I mean, I maxed out every single minute of this week, Boyle.
Dude, good, man. Living your best life in the middle of summer. No kid, no wife. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Yeah, I saw the videos of you on that boat. I was going to ask for a second if that's yours.
No.
But you rented it. That's a hell of a week you just had, man. That's when you tuck in the back pocket and you save that for a rainy day.
That's right. When you are up at 3 a.m. changing your 4th diaper and it's chaos and you got to get up in a few minutes because you got to go to the show, then you go, yeah, but remember that weekend in July that I had? That was the weekend. What I was hoping to get you to, I won't keep it too much longer, but I wanted to get you to give me a few dogs when it comes to your New York Knicks. I mean, I know they didn't get to the NBA Finals, but you always love the dogs, and I didn't get to hang out with you on a morning-by-morning basis when they made this incredible run through the playoffs. I know it ended the second round, but you must love the amount of dogs that are on that Knicks team right now.
Yeah. Yeah, they're phenomenal. Not only are they dogs, but they're a family, DA. We got Mikal Bridges from the broken down Brooklyn Nets, right? We give them a couple of, first round picks, alternating years, when the Knicks are going to the Eastern Conference Finals or the NBA Finals every single year. Congrats. You can have a 29th, a 30th, 31st overall pick. That ain't going to hurt us much. And especially the draft picks that the Knicks made. I mean, Tyler Kolek, that is a dog in the making. That's a puppy. He might sound like Scrappy Doo right now. Right? He might not have that deep alto tone bark right now. But he is in the making a dog. We all know about Julius Randle coming off the dislocated shoulder, a two-time All-NBA, two-time All-Star, the culture setter for the New York Knicks, somebody that gets kind of thrown under the bus, right? If you have a couple of dogs and one's been there for a while, you think, all right, he can get along on his own. You don't need to hold him by the leash. You can let him walk for a little bit. But still, the guy that's one of the leaders of this team, an absolute dog. And then, of course, you got OG Anunoby, who's one of the best defenders in basketball that can guard 1 through 5, shut down Joel Embiid, posterized Embiid, right? Dunked his donuts on Embiid's face in that closeout game for the Knicks to go to the second round. So he re-signs. He gets his payday. OG Anunoby, a dog. And then, of course, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, a couple of other of the Villanova Knicks with their defense, their heart, their hustle, their grit, their big shot-making ability. Absolute dogs. And finally, the heart, the soul, the king of New York, Jalen Brunson, who has already surpassed Carmelo Anthony as the greatest Knick of the 21st century, who's going to be the guy going down the Canyon of Heroes, spraying champagne into his mouth all over everybody else, leading the charge, leaving $113 million on the table for a contract extension. He is the epitome of dog. And I'm glad that the Knicks have a team full of them with Tom Thibodeau, the old pit bull in the corner, ready to be unleashed, ready to bite somebody's face off if needed. So, yeah, it's July 21st, but I'm jacked up for Knicks basketball.
Well done. You delivered as I knew you would. Kristen in Buffalo simply writes in all caps, DOGS, dogs. And I want to let you know that Lance Holmes, I'm not sure if you know Lance, writes, Pat, the next time I'm in New York, we're running the greatest two-man in history. Also, Eddie J says, Pat, hard hat guy. And Marie in Denver sent me merely a GIF that was a Muppet running because she is running to the camera, running to the show because she had to see your beautiful face.
Well, we love Marie in Denver. I'm a little upset, never got to link up and have a soiree with her and see where one drink leads to 17 and what else happens. And she had a broken foot, so she couldn't make the DA live show at Bob's Bar, Blobs by the Bay. I forget the name. Who's Sean's parents' house, what we called it. And instead, I got to have 74-year-old Gordon from Vancouver oil up my entire body and whisper sweet nothings into my ear. As great of a time as that was, here's to never knowing what could have been, Marie.
Well, I want to let you know that this summer we were thinking about having still a Bob's Bar show, but like everybody in Mraz's family is getting married or having kids, all of his sisters, all of his cousins, I don't know, something crazy is going on. So we kind of kept having to push it. And what we're kicking around now is maybe an NFL Sunday at Bob's Bar. So we get to go to Bob's Bar, we get to watch the NFL games from Bob's, and then we'll do this show late in the afternoon, early evening. That might be a chance for Marie in Denver and you to finally link up and to see the greatest romance that never happened to actually take place.
I am so game for that. Count me in. Any Sunday, I'm in, brother. That sounds like a one hell of a time for me, and hopefully this time I won't have to be attached to the hip of Knockout Neil, who was then, who by the end of the night, after we, put a little medicinal spell on him so that he wasn't trying to fight everybody at the party and, get him to knock out for 4 or 5 hours so he didn't try to drive home. He, too, by the end of the night, I had Gordon in Vancouver whispering sweet nothings while oiling me up and Knockout Neil trying to kiss the side of my face relentlessly. So Hey, if we only got one of those two things on a Sunday, football Sunday, I'm okay with it. If we got neither and we got Marie in Denver to show up or any other young single ladies, then I am very much okay with that too.
Pat Boyle, I love you like a brother. It's great to reconnect, buddy. I know that we text, but miss seeing your beautiful face, your handsome face. Having an amazing weekend down to the shore with the family. I hope that you have a great wedding as well. And I know that for the aliens that watch regularly on Sunday nights, this was a real treat for them. They've been waiting for you to join the show. I was waiting for the right time. Now that you're throwing first pitches out because you're so big time, I said this is the perfect time. So we'll do it again, bud. Thanks again.
DA, love you, man. Love you too, like a brother. Invite, doors always open here to come back whenever you want me. Anything else, you know where I'll be, and I'm sure we'll link up sooner rather than later, man. It's been a blast.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. There you go. The great Pat Boyle joining us here on the show. Can't beat it, right? I mean, Boyle is just the best. This is a man that knows what he's doing. Just let that. Look at that. Look at that form. All right, so there you go. Pat Boyle joining us here on the show. So awesome. And I'll tell you, this is a man that needs no introduction, but it was great to have him here on the program, and I love him. It's really cool to have him here on the show. And I'll tell you, it's just great to reconnect and to see that he's still Pat Boyle, right? there's no ifs, ands, or buts about the man being Mr. Pat Boyle. So I, you know that I love the good folks over at Last Dive Bar. Brian, everybody over there is just freaking awesome. And I got stuff to give away. And so just a reminder that we have tons of swag each and every week to give away. And a reminder that, you know, as we watch the final, 2.5 months or so of Oakland baseball come to an end, man, think about them, because there's a heart out there from A's fans that is so big, and it is why they're the perfect kind of communal team for this show. I think you guys know me well enough if you've been part of the show for a while, dating back to CBS Sports, Sirius, before that, Boston, Miami, Kansas City, even little old Fort Myers. Or if you just kind of join me because you're an A's fan, I think what I like to bring to the table is, a certain conscientiousness of fandom and fans and kind of this tortured existence we all lead. And, kind of thinking about, it's why I always root for the longest suffering fans in any team sport. Comes to a Super Bowl, a World Series, on and on and on. Longest suffering fans is the fans that I jump behind. I don't care much for stars or storylines. I just care about fans being finally redeemed from their pain, because we put so much into this. And I look at A's fans and go, boy, they deserve so much better than what is going on right now. And not only are they not getting it, they're losing it all. And so, as you watch these final 2.5 months of Oakland baseball, there's a shot. I'm crossing my fingers that everything kind of falls apart and the A's get back to Oakland somehow in some circuitous way. Kind of would be perfect for John Fisher to fail at this as well and for it to go back to Oakland. But I say this because the fact that Last Dive Bar is the sponsor of this show is very special to me, because those guys have a lot of heart and they're the perfect complement to this show. And all of their stuff is made with, fans in mind. I show T-shirts all the time. These designs are amazing. The Too Legit to Quit and the urinal. I mean, look at how cool this is. The urinal over at Oakland Coliseum. The We Are Here logo as well. Baseball's Last Dive Bar. But guys and gals that get these t-shirts, they're like, oh, the quality's really good on these. And like the screen printing's really good on these. And like the quality's really solid. It's comfortable. And it sure is. I mean, they care. They really care. And the stuff that they do like artistically, and look at this pin. That's a urinal pin. It's hysterical. They've got a great sense of humor. I mean, look at this kind of faux Guns N' Roses pin as well that they've got. That's badass. You've got the Rally Possum pin also. So I say this because you don't have to be an A's fan to rock with baseball's last dive bar. And you don't have to be an A's fan to rock some of this stuff over the course of the summer. Just kind of support a really cool, small business. Like Last Dive Bar is really cool people, and they care about me, and they care about this show, and they care about their audience. And so I'm going to give away a ton of stuff. But remember, you can buy a ton of stuff from them as well. And you can use our code Mothership, and that'll get you 15% off Last Dive Bar. And I can tell you everything that they have is just really high quality. So don't worry that you're going to get something and it's going to fall apart. It's not. So I wish I could put up the full screen graphic, but like I said, it's a bit of a bare bones effort. This is a love of the game episode. I'm live here, but there's no Aiden, so I'm running this thing myself. So we had to strip it down so that there's only a few bells and whistles for me to be able to work through as I also have a conversation with you guys and try to keep my train of thought. But I just, I appreciate them. I appreciate them a great deal. And I know you guys do too. So make sure that you support them and go to lastdivebar.com and use the code Mothership, right? For 15% off, baby. 15% off your order. Very cool. And I got stuff to give away this week, so I'm going to continue to do that. All right, so, we're rolling right along, and you guys know that we always do something called Golden Grams, a.k.a. Exhale Cocktails. And I thought you guys might want to know what's going on with the Marquette Marvel, Aiden Hatton. So I'm going to show you what's going on this week with this guy. Look at this guy right there. This is Mr. Aiden Hatton, who's taking, as a Celtics fan, a victory tour. I mean, how about this? The victory tour is going on right now through Milwaukee and Chicago. And he calls that mini trophy the Larry Faux Bryan Trophy. Larry Faux Bryan. So here he is just walking around Milwaukee, Chicago, shoving it in Bulls fans and Bucks fans' faces. Let that just wash over you. Aiden Hatton this weekend. Yeah, he's living his best life. The Larry Faux Bryan Trophy. As you can see, a true disciple of the DA show. We love puns. We love ridiculous puns. The more ridiculous, the better. Larry Faux Bryan Trophy, of course. I was laughing when I heard that. That's pretty good. All right. Now, it is time for a little Q&DA. Shall we, everybody? A little Q&DA. Here we go, everybody. That's right. Here we go. Q&DA, ready to rock. Look at this beautiful new graphic we have. Oh, my goodness. Questions, comments, absurdities. It is all here. Send them to us by clicking on any of these chats. All right? You got end of the YouTube, underneath the YouTube or to the side of the YouTube. You've also got the tweets. You've also got, I think, Facebook as well. You can have them up there. Boom. Everything, right? So this is what's going to be great, is that I'm just firing through these bad boys myself, okay? So that's how we're going to roll here. I'm just going through them one by one myself. So we're going to see if this is going to work here. What do you think? Let's try this out, okay? Now, Largent is a very funny dude, and he just wants to make sure everybody feels very welcome here. And Largent likes to call himself a weedo. And, marijuana is being legalized state by state throughout the U.S. Many places now it's recreationally legal. So there's dispensaries all over the place. And heck, I went into a health food store around here, and there was a soda. It's like a seltzer that was infused with CBD and THC. Now, this doesn't even have to be in like a cannabis shop, a dispensary. It doesn't even have to be in an alcohol place, like a beverage store, a liquor store. Now, this is just in a health food store. So there you go. I can get like probiotic yogurt, and then I can also get weed drinks. So pretty great. Pretty great. So Largent, salute to all you guys, all the weedos out there that are listening as well, watching. Too funny. Too funny. All right. Next up, here's Wallace, who says, like an old model DA Ford. Let's crank it up. Crank it up. That's right. Model DA Ford. That's what we're doing today. This thing, it's Wright Brothers type of flight. This is not a beautiful jumbo jet airliner. Okay. This is not Virgin Atlantic. This is just nuts and bolts. You might be flying Spirit Airlines right now. We're not nickel and diming you, but this is bare bones type of stuff today. Okay. That's right. Ben Bozo says, thanks, GA, for bending to the will of the masses. Look, I'm not going to lie. The feedback on the show 2 weeks ago when we had chunks of it taped, and so you guys couldn't chat live with us, I thought the response was tepid. We'll call it that. But I am not one to shy away from something that didn't work. I have always built my career on, let's try it. Let's try it. And if it doesn't work, we scrap it. We move on, which is probably you guys have been privy to a couple of bits that you heard once, maybe a guest or two that you've heard once. And I said, didn't work as well as I thought it was going to work. That show that we did behind the curtain was done because both Aiden and I had some type of schedule conflict that Sunday, and we could only do so much of it live. So we had to piece it together, a bunch of it taped. The guest was taped. I think the open was taped. I forget exactly what parts. But so we said, we'll put it together as live, post it on YouTube. It goes live at 7 o'clock Eastern time. And, we'll rock that way. And we'll put together a clean show. We can edit it. We can streamline it. We can put up the graphics. It'll look really good. It was the tightest show we did. And we always have a production meeting, myself, Aiden, Ethan, and then, whoever is available on a Tuesday, we have a production meeting about what happened on Sunday and what's going to happen the next week. And we all agreed it was the tightest show. It was like clean and sharp and it looked good. But you guys are not into it. You guys wanted it live. You wanted it maybe a little sloppier. You guys wanted to make sure the interaction was there, that you could all chat along. And that I realized, you know what? It didn't work. So we move on. It was a test balloon and it didn't work. So we move on. And I said, the most important part of this show to me is building a family. I feel like CBS Sports Radio and my stops before it always were about building a foundation of a family of people that were like-minded, that loved sports, but didn't take them so seriously they could get angry at one another. I never wanted to shout down at anybody. Never wanted to melt down at listeners. Occasionally there's a few moments of that, but I never liked a negative vibe or connotation, an authoritarian connotation to sports talk radio. This was about building a community. So that's what I wanted this to be about, a family. And what I realized was Sunday night when we taped it and put it up, didn't give you guys a chance to feel like a family. It felt like you were watching something, but you weren't part of it. And so I said, all right, we tried. Now we got to be here. We got to be present. And if you can't be present, I got to be present. If I can't be present, you got to be present. So somebody's got to be present here. So it's like a lighthouse. You cannot leave it unattended. Sunday nights at 7 o'clock, we've built this, and now we got to attend to it. So that's the way it's going to be. And I appreciate the honesty from you guys because I care about what you think. I care about you come to me every Sunday night. I care that you like this, that it means enough to you to let me know what you liked and didn't like. And I'm here for it. The one thing that you cannot, you'll never offend me by saying, that didn't work. I liked it better this way. DA, this was better. You'll never offend me. The only thing that will offend me is if you expect me to kind of bend to your specific whim, your singular whim. That I don't like, because it's like, well, you got to realize this is a team. We don't have individuals. Like, I don't have to throw you the ball every single play. Sometimes I've encountered that rarely, but sometimes the listener can be a bit selfish. Like, why don't you do this? Well, you want that, but that's not better for the show. That's not better for the audience. You want that. So I have to balance everything. But if enough people say we want this, I got to listen. So you'll never offend me by letting me know what you think. Now, Stephen Murray, who is a brilliant voice guy. And by the way, if you're listening to the Sirius XM show weekday morning, 6 until 9 Eastern time on Channel 82, the most recent Trash Tuesday had a bunch of elongated Trash Tuesday drops. And that was stuff that Stephen had done for me a couple months ago. The issue has been, if you've listened to my show and you haven't heard drops like you used to, it's because the whole drop thing at SiriusXM is so different than CBS. And all of the things that I was used to were formatically impossible to do at Sirius, or had to go through a number of different layers for me to figure out how to do them well. And so it took a long time to figure out getting drops instituted the same way that I used to have them at CBS. We finally got it. So you may have heard of some of them over the last 2 to 3 weeks. As we get more, familiar with it, it'll be more and more. But last Tuesday, I played a lot of like really cool produced Trash Tuesday drops, and those are all from Steven. So that's his genius there. And so he says, "Put some bourbon on me." DA on 721. That's exactly right. That's kind of how I feel right now. I think after this, we might do it. Although I will say, that bachelor party that I went to, it was Wednesday night, Thursday night into Friday. We played golf on Thursday. We had a poker tournament for the guys as well, and there was also a ping pong tournament, all of which involved a pretty steady dose of drinking. So probably good for the week, but glass of bourbon at the end of a Sunday. Who doesn't need that? Curtis says, DA, give me Boyle, Jake Taylor. Wait, do you mean Pat Boyle, the seed planter across the planet? I don't know if we want to call him that, but yes, technically, that's who we're talking about, okay? Technically, yes. I would say he has a penchant for that type of thing. I would say so. Moist Pork says, I could really use a Booski. I took the kids out today for school supplies, and I survived. I can only imagine. I have fond memories of back-to-school shopping. My mom, and I'm the oldest of three. My mom, usually. I don't think my dad usually came on those trips. So it was me, my brother, my younger sister. We would all go out, and it would be like, okay, we're going to go to we would go to like the whatever Office Depot there was back then. It was an Office Depot. And it was, okay, get your 3-ring binders. Again, how many notebooks do you need? And, you would get that letter in the mail before email, before digital portals. Okay, you need 3 black and white notebooks. Okay, you need 2 D-ring binders. Okay, you need this, that, and the other thing. And then so we get all those types of things. Pencils, pens, you need this, that, and the other. Protractor. Oh, this you got to have protractor. This you have to have a calculator, and back to school sneakers. And I remember it was the era of that was late 80s, early 90s when I used to do that. Like I was high school class 97. So back that up 10 years, I'm 7 years old in 87. And I'm 10 years old in 89. So, that range. And that was kind of the boom of really expensive sneakers. Like Jordans, Pippen had sneakers. These are $90 to $100, $120 sneakers at the time. I couldn't do that to my mom. I couldn't do it. And, it's a little bit like cars now for me. I know there's people that are super into sneakers and super into cars, and God bless. It's just I look at them as very utilitarian. I've always been like, what car is going to get me point A to point B? And that's what I'm getting. My first car in high school that my parents bought me was a 72 Oldsmobile Cutlass. Now, this is the 90s. Why do I have a classic car? My dad loves muscle cars. And the idea was, well, it's safe. It's huge. It's a boat. Safe. I think also they got a discount on insurance because it was a 72. But like, I never needed a new fast car. The newest car that I bought a couple of years ago was a Toyota RAV4 because I had a RAV4 back in the early 2000s, and it was awesome. Got me from point A to point B, never had much problems with it. And this one is a hybrid. It gives me good gas mileage. I get like 39 to the gallon. I'm like, perfect. Great. I drive a lot. I drive into the studio, into the city 3 days a week. So that helps me out. But I don't need the $50,000 vehicle. Just not my bag. I never needed the $120 sneakers. I couldn't do it. So like, I'm looking for like $50 cross trainers. But that was my back to school shopping experience, and I remember it so well. It's like so burned into my mind. So I'm actually looking forward to that with AJ one day. He's got many years to go, but if it was chaotic and hectic moist pork, it is okay. I think we all understand how harrowing that might be. By the way, Craig tweets in, moist, I've got a blue light going on right now. I had plenty of bourbon last night. A blue light sounds delicious. I think you guys know I love Canadian beer very, very much. I would even probably drink it on the 4th of July. I'm sorry. I probably would. I love blue, Labatt Blue. I love Labatt Blue Light very much. I love Molson. They just, they hit right. The Canadians know how to drink beer. It's like crisp, refreshing, kind of potent, like pretty on point with everything that they do beer-wise up there. I think we do a lot of good stuff in the States, but I think in terms of beer, man, the Canadians have beer down pat. Ryan tweets in, do you think it's possible the A situation is still a mess? The new commissioner would put it to a halt. Well, Manfred said it was 5 years from now that he's going to still be around. So I could this thing still be going on 5 years from now? It could. It could. Baseball has painted itself into a corner because right now they've kind of burned the bridges on the way out of town in Oakland. And in Oakland, they have their most passionate fan base, their most loyal fan base. And I know that it has never looked like they've had a ton of fans because of the attendance figures. But you kind of have to take that all in context. Number one, nobody else in Major League Baseball is forced to attend a baseball game any longer in a football stadium. That went the way of the dodo bird many years ago. All of those former football stadiums in Atlanta, Fulton County Stadium, and Pittsburgh, Three Rivers, and Philadelphia, the Vet, in San Diego, Jack Murphy, Candlestick, all these places, none of them exist anymore. None of them. This is the only place you've been able to be multi-purpose for how many years? I mean, it's ridiculous. So that's number one. It is not supposed to be a baseball stadium the way that it's currently built. Number two, the ownership has told the fans, please stay away. We're not going to re-sign any of the people that you like. We're not going to sign any free agents. We're not going to let you do fan experiences. We don't want fan groups. We want to keep everybody at arm's length. We are actively trying to kind of disassociate with the city for years. So I don't buy the narrative that nobody cares out there because I've lived it. I've seen it. And I can tell you this. There's 20 other teams in America, in the U.S., that if they were losing the team, would not give me a fraction of the social media feedback, emails, tweets, Facebook messages, etc., calls to my radio show that Oakland A's fans have given me. I know it. I've been doing this for 20 some odd years. A lot of teams have relocated. I've never seen an outcry like this. I imagine this is what the Cleveland Browns situation was like. If the Cleveland Browns situation was painfully spread out over 20 years, because that's what Fisher's been doing, John Fisher. He's been slowly bleeding this thing for 20 years. But I just know it's different. And so I think there's a significant chance this thing will always look like Rob Manfred's biggest mistake. Because let's just say that it goes through. Vegas doesn't need a baseball team. They're doing well without it from a sports standpoint. Gets the worst owner in sports, to a ballpark that is probably going to be kind of like reconfigured. Those renditions that you see is not going to be the way that it looks. The A's even admitted that earlier this week, that they're going to have to like basically take a hatchet to the the rendition, because they don't have the money to build that. They won't, and they can't get anything done. They can't get anything done properly. So you're just going to have, I think, a city in Las Vegas that has a carpetbagger owner that wants to probably sell the moment that he gets there, but baseball's not going to let him sell for, I think it's a 5-year to 10-year wait. So he's just going to be like waiting, and they're not going to spend any money on the team. The city's not going to love the A's because of John Fisher and the way that it went down, and that it looks like a flaming disaster because it's worse in Vegas than it would have been in Oakland. I really believe that's a possibility. I really do. More comments coming in here. You guys, you guys have absolutely crushed it on the comments. I appreciate that. Moist Porks is my favorite line ever from Boyle. If you could have gone pro, but you didn't go pro, you couldn't have been pro, bro. Boyle has a million of those, right? Curtis says, damn it, I miss DA and Boyle. They're the equivalent of Bird and McHale. Boyle's amazing. I love the dude. He's hysterical. He's energetic. He's the type of guy that you want on your team any day of the week. And I pushed him, I pushed him, and he wanted the coaching. That's what I love about Pat Boyle. We got to do it this way. You got to do it differently. We got to do that. Let's do this. Try this. Let's do that. He's an athlete, so he took to coaching. Love guys like that. Love girls and gals that say, what can I do? There may have been somebody that I used to work with fringe-wise at a previous stop that didn't take coaching and made tons of mistakes, not Mraz, and refused coaching and thought that he could do it better. And we had to kind of eliminate him from the conversation. Who might that be? I don't know. Vicky says last dive bar is awesome. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And as Curtis says, 2 shirts and a hat. Quality, very, very good. That's right. Large, by the way. Steve was the best large. Yeah, I agree with that. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there you go. Wallace asks, where do you get the awesome player posters behind you? These I found online. Probably the best way you can look for it, take any one of those guys and just search, art, vintage art poster, vintage sports art poster, but include their name. I found it through Barry Sanders. If you just image search, Google search, shopping, Barry Sanders art, I think you'll find it. But yeah, I think that's the easiest way to do it. If I find the link, I can probably send it out to you, but he has a lot of others of these. And I just think they're so badass that absolutely they're great for a sports den. GG, if you premiered the video a couple of weeks ago, I think we would have been able to live stream it instead of the whole thing went up and we couldn't. All good though. That is something that we may have to do in the future where we actually pre-record the show and then premiere it, because I have a wedding on a Sunday night at the very end of the summer, like 5 weeks from now. It's the weekend before Labor Day. So I might have to do that unless we figure out a way around it with a fill-in host. Not sure you guys want a fill-in host. Maybe you do. Maybe like a Boyle slips in here and does a fill-in show. Not sure. If you guys would like a fill-in host for that Sunday night, maybe Aiden co-host with somebody. We'll see. But that Sunday night specifically, I am going to be probably one sheet to the wind. Bourbon Bell and I flying out to SoCal for a wedding for a college friend of mine. So that should be pretty fun. San Clemente is where we're going to be, I think is where it's at. Yeah. San Clemente. And we're going to take a couple of days after the wedding to do Southern California. We don't get out there often because of the flight and now because of AJ, but figure that's kind of a cool chance to do it. So there you go. Steven says yes. The aliens like it a bit sloppy. Yes, that's exactly right. That's kind of how we roll around here. All right, I think I got through most of the comments that I wanted to get to, and thanks here for everybody joining us. Will, don't worry about being late, because remember, you can always watch this as well, going back in the rewind function of YouTube. How great is that? Or really anywhere that it's posted, you can get that as well. So you can always go back and watch it and catch up on what you got going on. Okay, that was Q and DA. How about that, everybody? We did it on our own. Aiden, we did it, buddy. Now we know how hard you have to work, and we kind of got through it. Not bad. All right, it's time now for something we like to call Sports Zen. All right. Sports Zen is something that I think about constantly. And Sports Zen this week is something that I think you're going to enjoy. I love looking at old photos in sports. I love thinking about putting myself in that place and time, what it would have been like. And I found this because on this date in 1973, Hank Aaron hit home run number 700. Think about that number, 700. At that point in time, only Babe Ruth had hit 700 home runs or more. And so on this date in 1973, Hank hit 700. It would take until April of 74 before he hit 714 to tie the Babe and 715 where he broke the Babe's record. But I saw this and I thought this was so cool. This was early on in the 74 season. This is April of 74. Okay. And in April of 74, the Braves go to, that was a quick one. Let me see if I can get that. There we go. They go to Cincinnati. That's a Riverfront Stadium. And Gerald Ford is the president at that point in time, had been taken over, I believe. I believe that's when he took over, April 74. I'd have to check when in 74 for Nixon after Watergate. And so there he is as Hank Aaron's preparing to hit 714 and 715. And I think this was early 74. And there's Pete Rose and Johnny Bench. I thought, boy, that is so cool, right? I mean, isn't that just an amazing type of video and moment? I just thought, man, that is the type of thing that you could just see. They're all laughing, and there's Pete Rose in all of his glory. That's the Big Red Machine at their apex. If this is 74, this is right before they win back-to-back World Series in 75 and 76. That's two of the greatest players of all time on the Reds, congratulating one of the greatest players ever in Hank Aaron with the President of the United States. And back when one of those multi-purpose stadiums with artificial turf is gleaming and nearly brand spanking new, and the height of technology and modernization. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Reds move into Riverfront in 72, perhaps. And so this is like the early days of those multi-purpose stadiums. So everything is so beautiful, right? It's like 70s joy. And so I just thought this is such a cool photo. And this is so far before the downfall of Pete Rose. And I'm very much looking forward to that documentary. Very much. But Pete Rose, Johnny Bench with those sideburns, and those guys understanding the type of legend that they're standing next to in Hank Aaron, pretty badass, pretty awesome. So that was my moment of Sports Zen this week. As I saw that photo, I said, "Oh, that's got to be my thing this week." So there you go, everybody. I think we actually did it. If I'm not mistaken, we kind of did it tonight. I appreciate everybody's patience with the bare bones edition of this fine digital program. Every single week we do this on Sunday nights, and as I like to say, tell your friends about this. If you think this is a cool thing and you enjoy watching it and being part of this family, please tell your friends, your family, those that could use a boost, feel good. I mean, obviously there's a lot of things in America right now that pull people apart, politically specifically. This is a place where we try to come together, have a good time, talk about sports, have some laughs, and feel good, and give away really cool stuff like Last Dive Bar, Watch DA Live, koozies. So I know I didn't give away things specifically. I'm going to go back and do this after the show tonight and make sure that I have all of your addresses that I need, and I'll reach out to you when needed, if needed. But thanks for all the comments. Thanks for being along for the ride tonight. And thanks for enjoying the Sunday night Watch DA Live. Once again, Means a lot that you come here for us. Please support Last Dive Bar and share the show with your friends. Send it to them. Be like, hey, watch this on YouTube. Send them the clip on YouTube and then say, you'll like it. Come with us on Sunday nights. It's going to be a good time. All right, that'll do it for me. Thanks to Pat Boyle. Thanks to all you guys, the D-Aliens, for hanging out with me tonight. This was awesome. We did it! Mo, we really did it! The Wright brothers got up and off the ground and it didn't crash. Whee! I am out of here, everybody. If I could only find the slate to go to. I think I'll be. Oh, here it is. Yes. Goodbye.